As you all know, I made a request today for what we were calling a gag order, and I'm not going to walk out of court and do anything other than live up to that.
Federal sex trafficking and other charges, to all of which he's pleaded not guilty. There's no VIP section, there is no concierge, only conmen, killers, and kingpins. MDC is so bad, federal judges have questioned the harsh conditions for those here awaiting.
Diddy's current experience at the Metropolitan Detention Center, MDC, in Brooklyn has been described as grim and challenging. He is reportedly housed in a special unit, commonly referred to as the Hole, which consists of small, windowless cells with very limited amenities. The facility is notorious for its poor conditions, with detainees frequently facing overcrowding, violence, and severe staffing shortages. Reports indicate that Diddy is sleeping on a concrete floor with just a thin mattress and has been avoiding food due to concerns about contamination and potential threats to his safety.
Do have a substantial amount of money. Imagine if someone paid someone off on the inside to actually poison his food, give him a heart attack, and he dies. And no one would really think anything of it. So that may be one of the reasons he's not eating. He's really paranoid. He's really...
Attorney Michael Cohen has discussed the harsh realities of prison life, which can be particularly jarring for someone like Diddy, who is accustomed to luxury. According to Cohen, prison can be a severe shock, and for some, feels worse than a death sentence. Inmates are confined to small 3x5-foot spaces with minimal comfort. Each setup typically includes a desk, a plastic chair, a bed with a thin 11-inch mattress, no pillow, and a small locker. The overall conditions are stark, and the lack of basic comforts makes it a truly horrible environment for those incarcerated. Next, he voiced
Donald Trump's former fixer, Michael Cohen, spent a harrowing year in federal custody. He says for someone used to a life of luxury like Diddy, prison life is a severe shock.
You have a desk, you have a plastic chair, you have your bed with a 1.5-inch mattress, no pillow, and you also have a locker. So you basically have 3 feet by 5 feet to move around.
No, he won't. What'll happen is that he's there for, his trial hasn't even started. The lawyers are talking about possibly having a trial with him later on, and that won't be until next year. MDC, I've heard the conditions are very difficult, they're deplorable. As you said, the maggots, the mice. I had some friends that work there, so they tell me that the conditions are kind of horrible. MCC closed, so all the prisoners now are going into MDC, the federal prisoners. But what happens is that after a while, when they get sentenced, they get moved. They get moved to prisons around the country. Now, from what I'm hearing today, it could be true or not true, I heard that he might have been moved to Newark.
No,
and taken
really?
out of MTC because they may have had that application go in and it might have been granted to move.
The situation is further complicated by his high-profile status and the serious charges against him. Lindsay noted that famous individuals often become targets in prison, with some inmates viewing attacks on celebrities as a badge of honor, which increases Diddy's risk of trouble. The overall conditions at the Metropolitan Detention Center are described as horrific and extremely challenging, especially for someone awaiting trial. The facility offers limited access to outdoor recreation and basic amenities, exacerbating an already stressful and difficult environment for detainees. This combination of factors makes his experience particularly daunting.
You say his fame makes him a target.
Yes, in my humble estimation, his life, his safety is in jeopardy in any correctional lockup right now. If it is true, as reported, that he is housed in the special housing unit, it's important to note that the special housing unit is a lockdown, 24-hour lockdown unit. The MDC Brooklyn is a high-rise. The vast majority of the floors are general population floors, but the special housing unit is a 24-hour lockdown facility. So this is for Mr. Combs' protection. His incredible worldwide celebrity combined with the allegations, the charges now, and indictment, of course, of acts of violence against women make him a very attractive target. Obviously, they need to say.
Gian, Diddy's former bodyguard, has expressed significant concerns about Diddy's mental health and safety given his current legal troubles and confinement. He suggested that the intense stress of the situation, combined with the harsh realities of prison life, could lead Diddy to contemplate self-destructive thoughts. Gian's comments highlight the serious emotional toll that such circumstances can take, raising alarm about the impact of confinement on Diddy's well-being.
Puff always had a problem of listening to people that he thought that was less than him. And now he got to listen to people that got power over him, but never had as much as he had. He's going to have a big problem in the prison system. He's going to have a real big problem in the prison system, bro. And having to listen to those COs and having to listen to everybody that got more power than him now, from a person that had all the power in the world that we thought, now seems like the tables is turning. If these people have it this their way, he's gonna be spending the rest of his life in the prison system. He better hope that they want to make a deal, but I don't think so, or they want somebody else. He better hope, and he got something to offer them. Even if he got something to offer him, you gotta realize
The conditions at Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center, where Diddy is currently held, present a harsh environment characterized by significant psychological stress and a lack of basic comforts. Reports indicate that the facility is notorious for its overcrowding, violence, and inadequate staffing, which contribute to an overall atmosphere of tension and unease. Inmates often face small, windowless cells with minimal amenities, leading to a stark and oppressive living situation. For someone like Diddy, accustomed to a life of luxury, this confinement can be particularly jarring. The absence of basic comforts, such as proper bedding and adequate recreational opportunities, exacerbates the already challenging experience of incarceration. The psychological impact of such conditions can be severe, raising concerns not only about his mental health, but also about his safety as a high-profile inmate. Overall, Diddy's situation underscores the grim realities faced by those incarcerated in such facilities.
Is worse than it was then, all right? But let me tell you about Essex County. Essex County. My friend says it's the worst in New Jersey. It's a very serious jail. People get beat up left and right. The Bloods and Muslims control everything there. He will be in PC or he's going to have to pay. Now let me tell you, a guy like Diddy with money, they put him in general population, he's going to be paying a lot of people. A lot of families are going to be very happy because they're going to be getting monthly money from Diddy. Trust me on that there. All right? My friend said it was the worst spot, constant lockdowns, and the food was beyond disgusting. Now, he said it was beyond disgusting there. He's saying that it was great at MDC when we were first there, and it was disgusting. All right? But he said it might be better for him because MDC is really fucking up now, and the MS-13 are controlling. From what I hear, MS-13 is now controlling MDC. These are folks, this is information that came from somebody who just got released and knows these prisons. So I don't know why this attorney wants to get him transferred from MDC to Essex. It's like from worse to worse. But anyways, that's their choice.
The Metropolitan Detention Center, MDC, offers minimal privileges to its inmates and subjects them to constant threats and violence, creating a stark contrast to the luxurious lifestyle Diddy once enjoyed. Recently, a new accuser has come forward, further complicating his situation and adding to the challenges he faces while incarcerated. The harsh realities of life in MDC highlight the significant departure from the comfort and opulence Diddy was accustomed to, amplifying the difficulties he must navigate during this tumultuous period.
New accuser went public with more accusations against the music mogul. Talia Graves claims in a civil lawsuit that Combs and a bodyguard drugged, bound, and raped her in 2001 and filmed the incident. Graves is represented by famed litigator Gloria Allred, who is no stranger to representing women in high-profile cases, okay? Here's a list. We're speaking of Gloria Allred here, okay? Here's a list of just some of the women she's represented in the past. Look at this list right here. O.J. Simpson trial, remember that Scott Peterson trial, Tiger Woods scandal, Bill Cosby scandal, Anthony Weiner, former representative out of New York. Remember that? All of that stuff happened. That's who she's represented. Allred represented Amber Frey, the girlfriend of Scott Peterson, who was convicted of killing his wife and unborn son, and most notably, she represented more than half.
Diddy faces serious federal charges of trafficking and racketeering, which could result in significant prison time if he is convicted. The gravity of these offenses has led experts, including former prosecutor Namar Ramani, to suggest that he could be sentenced to years behind bars. Given the severity of the charges, the stakes are incredibly high, and the implications for Diddy's future are profound. As the legal proceedings unfold, the potential consequences weigh heavily on him, raising concerns about both his immediate circumstances and the long-term impact of a possible conviction.
No deal that the U.S. Attorney's Office can offer, and it's certainly not one that Diddy will accept. It would involve decades in federal prison. We're talking about mandatory minimum sentences of 10 years for both the drug charges and the sex trafficking. So we know that Diddy has fought charges before. There were state charges, there were gun-related, the nightclub shooting with J-Lo, but he's going to dig in his heels, and this case is going to trial. So if you're prosecutors, you really want to make sure that your evidence is bulletproof before you go.
Diddy's life has experienced a dramatic transformation, shifting from a world of wealth filled with private jets, luxurious mansions, and high-end fashion to the grim realities of imprisonment at the Metropolitan Detention Center, MDC. This stark contrast between his former lavish lifestyle and the harsh conditions of prison highlights the severity of his fall from privilege to deprivation. The shift serves as a powerful reminder of the significant consequences he now faces, emphasizing the profound change in his circumstances as he navigates this challenging chapter of his life.
His desires, including his freak-offs. What a word that's become, honestly. And just to give you a little list of exactly what him and his employees got up to here, we've got sex trafficking, forced labor, interstate transportation for purposes of prostitution, coercion and enticement to engage in prostitution, narcotic offenses, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. Wow. Like, you know what? You're P. Diddy. You've got all the money in the world. You don't need to do any of this. But for some people, the more powerful they get, the more dark their imagination becomes, and the more they want to push the boundaries to do the craziest fucked up shit possible. And this is what happens when a psychopath gets this much power. Even those words coercion and enticement to engage in prostitution, it wasn't enough for him to get consenting, prostitutes who do this by trade. What a trade. Do you know what I mean? I don't remember that in my apprenticeship. But people who do this for a living anyway. It was fun for him to take people who would never ordinarily have been a prostitute into that so that they could become his toys. And by the sounds of it, P. Diddy and his employees would do whatever it took to get women into his inner circle to participate in whatever fucked up shit he was into. He would use threats. He would use intimidation. He would even use the offer of a romantic relationship, that lover boy method that Andrew Tate made.
Once accustomed to lavish meals, Diddy now faces a monotonous diet consisting of basic prison food, such as potatoes and processed meat. This drastic change in his daily nutrition underscores the significant shift in his life since entering the Metropolitan Detention Center. Deconfinement, further highlighting the severe departure from his former lifestyle of luxury and abundance. This combination of poor nutrition and isolation not only affects Diddy's physical well-being, but also takes a toll on his mental health, emphasizing the profound impact of his current circumstances on every aspect of his life.
These freak-offs purchased multiple hotel rooms for these freak-offs to take place, had his staff stock the rooms with different items, drugs, lube, extra sheets, things of that nature for the freak-off, didn't allow individuals to not participate in the freak-off. And one of the ways that he did that was by using drugs in order to get them to a state of mind so that they would participate, or he would use the tapes as extortion to force them into these freak-offs. And he did all of this for his own perverted twisted benefit. I don't know if he was participating in these. I don't know if he was getting off to these videos that he was making. Who knows? This is crazy. I don't know how else to put it. It's crazy. It's terrible. The amount of people whose lives have been forever affected by this. I just want to know some more information, and I want to know who else is involved in this, because I have a feeling that this is going to be massive for the next 2, 3, 4 years and beyond.
Reports indicate that Diddy has stopped eating in prison due to fears of being poisoned, raising serious concerns about his physical safety and mental health. This behavior underscores the psychological toll of imprisonment and the heightened sense of vulnerability he faces in his current environment. The stress of his situation, combined with the harsh realities of life at the Metropolitan Detention Center, contributes to an overwhelming sense of fear and isolation. As he navigates these challenges, the impact on his well-being becomes increasingly evident, highlighting the significant emotional strain of his incarceration.
And convinced he will be poisoned. Because remember, it's all about him. Okay, it's not about his alleged sex trafficking victims. It's about him. He actually thinks someone might poison him behind bars. Good evening. I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. Thank you. I know he's in the MDC right now, but he better hide under his bed because Gloria Allred is up his tailpipe now. In the last hours, is there ever a moment that a lawyer who is used to talking for a living realizes I should just shut up? Apparently not in some cases. In the last hours, TMZ, who is creating the downfall of Diddy on Tubi, our friend Harvey Levin, who created TMZ, sits down with Sean Combs's lawyer. I want you to hear what happened.
Back when I was a kid in the late 70s, they were called threesomes.
If these are genuinely threesomes, how do you explain 1,000 bottles of baby oil?
I don't know where the number 1,000 came.
The U.S. attorney said it.
I can't imagine it's thousands. I mean, you know, and I'm not really sure what the baby oil has to do with anything.
They're essentially saying it's a lubricant for an orgy.
I guess. I don't know what you need 1,000. One bottle of baby oil goes a long way. I don't know what you need 1,000 for. I mean, he has a big house. He buys in bulk. You know, I think they have Costco's in every place where he has a home. I mean, have you sat in the parking lot of a Costco and see what people walk out of there with?
Not 1,000 bottles of baby.
Inmates like Diddy face unique risks in prison, as other detainees may attempt to torment them to gain recognition or status. This dynamic can create an environment where tied to harassment, bullying, or even violence aimed at celebrities. As a result, Diddy must navigate not only the physical challenges of imprisonment, but also the psychological threats posed by those seeking to exploit his fame. Underscores the complex realities of incarceration for someone of his stature, making it a particularly daunting experience. Next Voik. Diddy is currently embroiled in a staggering legal battle, facing over 100 lawsuits that include serious accusations of physical misconduct and trafficking. This unprecedented number of claims represents one of the most significant legal challenges ever seen in the entertainment industry, posing a substantial hurdle for the music mogul. The gravity of the allegations has created a whirlwind of media attention, complicating his chances for a favorable outcome. Recently, things took a turn for the worse when prominent attorney Shade Combs announced plans to file more than 120 additional lawsuits on behalf of alleged victims. These claims encompass a range of serious accusations, including violent sexual assault, rape, sexual abuse facilitated by controlled substances, false imprisonment, compelling prostitution, sexual misconduct, and even the sexual abuse of minors. Combs's firm argues that Diddy poses a societal threat, which complicates his ability to secure bail. During a recent press conference, Combs highlighted the weight of the presumed evidence against Diddy, asserting that the sheer volume of allegations makes it exceedingly difficult for a judge to grant bail. It's very challenging for a judge to set someone free on bail.
We have the latest on Sean Diddy Combs' investigation as the hip-hop star fights racketeering, conspiracy, sex trafficking, and prostitution charges. Well, investigators now working to determine who his co-conspirators were and whether they should be charged as well. TMZ is also reporting Diddy was placed on suicide watch at the detention center that he's being held at in New York. But his lawyer is saying he's not suicidal. This is just routine for high-profile inmates. Just this week, prosecutors say they served Combs' head of security with a search warrant for his electronic devices.
You can rest assured that the feds have already talked to the people who worked for Combs, and all of those people have already probably given.
There's so much evidence suggesting they pose a risk to society, he stated. The implications of this situation are grave. If Diddy were to be released on bail and another incident occurred, the repercussions would be significant, not only for him, but for the judicial as well. Furthermore, the fact that Diddy has been denied bail twice only adds to the perception of his guilt in the public eye. Observers note that the repeated denials can create a narrative that he must be truly dangerous, making it increasingly difficult for his legal team to argue otherwise. The situation raises questions about how to find an impartial jury. Some speculate that a change of venue may be necessary to ensure Diddy
with a controlled substance, false imprisonment, compelling prostitution, sexual misconduct, dissemination of video recordings, false imprisonment, sexual abuse of
seeds a fair trial. It feels like they'd have to move the trial to somewhere remote, maybe even Alaska, to find jurors who aren't influenced by the media, one legal expert suggested. In this complex and challenging landscape, Diddy's future hangs in the balance as he navigates a daunting series of legal hurdles. With numerous lawsuits pending and new allegations surfacing, the stakes are incredibly high and the pressure continues to mount. The coming months will be crucial as Diddy and his legal team prepare to face the overwhelming weight of these accusations.